Hello, everybody. Welcome in. How are we doing today? We're going to be doing Guided by Light, live question and answer. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. We have a question and answer poll as well, so if you want to pop in your answers while we wait for our early arrivers. I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this moment. Let me go on Discord as well. So we are on Discord. All right. So we're on Discord as well. If you guys want to pop on in and get any questions answered about the book. It's called Guided by Light, A Journey of Faith, Healing, and Divine Presence. So I'm going to share a little bit about the book and then open it all up to you for any questions in the chat whenever they do come up to you as well. So that is what we are doing today. Thank you all for being here. This is my first book. I'm super excited to announce it. It is now on Amazon for $2.99. Let me see. Okay. How's everyone doing today? Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. All right. Let's get started. Much love. So we're going to open this up with about who I am and just a one-liner from the book, okay? I am, some of you know me as AubreyBASSic. A lot of you know me as AubreyBASSic, but I go by Tasha. I'll release my name just because it's on the book. And this is my first time releasing my name, so if you know me, I don't do that. So, but this is my book. It's based off of a true story of faith, doubt, healing, and noticing the light in the dark, okay? And the line, and I'm a little nervous because this is my first time doing this, so thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate you. But let me open up the book and get a line from the book. All right, so this is a paragraph from chapter 5, Embracing Spiritual Gifts. As I look back on my journey, I see how every experience, every dream, every struggle, every moment of grace was preparing me not only for my own healing, but also to help others. For so long, I thought my spirituality was something private, a fragile flame I had to protect. But I understand now that I was never meant to stay hidden. It was meant to shine, to offer warmth and light to those still searching in the dark. And such a powerful line, because that's pretty much what I wanted my book to be about. It's about my life and how faith has shaped me. How self-doubt can step in and make you fear, but faith will conquer all if you just believe, right? And that's the story behind the book. Okay, this book talks about when I had a dream at the age of 5. It was like so real. It was so vivid, so real. I felt the energy behind it, and just the presence of God. Whatever that may look like or feel like to you, it's not a religious book at all. It just is about that experience in my life and how it shaped me, and how it grew my faith stronger from that moment, and how I started to learn about my abilities. And even when I started to learn about my abilities, how to be able to control my abilities, through being an high emotional being, high IQ, learning about spiritual attacks, spiritual warfare, because not everything is what it is perceived by the eye. So I talk about that vivid dream, and how I was able to see, how I was able to feel and be in the presence of the divine. So that was pretty intense. And then my story also talks about in the year 2009, I was a freshman in high school, and I took my mother's car. Me and my mother, we always talk about this, but yeah, I took my mother's car several times, and there was this one day where I went with a friend, and you know, we had went to go see my boyfriend at the time, and she felt that she wanted to go see hers, and she kept, you know, pushing me to go take her, right? And all I wanted to do was get back so that I wouldn't get in trouble. But I did anyways. I went to take her, and it was far across town. It wasn't even close to where I needed to be. It took like at least an hour. So anyways, yeah, I got off the highway, and this is in Southern California. Yeah, we got into a car crash. My car spun, and it was like everything went silent. I was in pure consciousness. Like that white room, and it wasn't padded. Okay, let me tell you, I'm not crazy. But it was like that white, pure essence, like energy, and it was like you can feel the energy of either an angel or the divine himself, because I heard, and I remember it, like I heard his voice in the back, and he touched my shoulder, and he's like, "It's not your time yet, wake up." So that was pretty intense. I got out of that car crash, no scars, and my mom, I remember her being so freaking mad. I went home with my aunt. They tore me into pieces. Let me just tell you, they whooped my butt. But I'll never forget it. It was something that I needed. It was something that changed my life around. It was during my rebellious stages where I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So freshman year, or freshman going into sophomore year, that's when I kind of like changed my life around, and I didn't really like They know I'm telling the truth. There's horns going off. I changed my life around. I'm like, I can't risk my life based off of my rebelness. So, yeah. They're like, amen to that. Amen to that. Oh my. They're so funny. The divine is funny. Like, the divine works in mysterious ways, and I don't think people understand. Like, if you guys aren't ready, please don't open your third eye if you are not ready, because let me just tell you, it is one hell of an experience. It is one hell of an experience, y'all. And I can't express enough how grateful I am to be able to have these abilities, to be able to see through BS, but also I have been blinded. I have been taken through the storm. I have been fooled. I've been, and it's sick, but at the same time, like, it's got me to where I am today. Okay, and I just want to reiterate that, like, whatever it is that's dragging you through the mud, through the storm, and you feel like you're in a dark place, I would highly recommend to read this book, to kind of look at life from a different perspective, right? So that is the reason and the motivation of why I wrote this book. Give me a second here. And if you have any questions, please pop it in the chat. Thumbs up if you are here. We are also live on Discord as well, if you guys want to stop on in. Alright. So yeah, just like, it just takes, like, this book just, like, is about just taking it step by step. There's no right, there's no wrong in everybody's, journey. And it's just embracing the journey that you're on. Whether it be reflecting, well, you have to reflect on the past in order to get to right now and understand, like, certain patterns, breaking cycles. And I'm also going to open up the room for at least 25 minutes for questions and answers. Because I would love to hear what's on your guys' mind, and I would love to read each question before answering. So, yes. So, one of the questions that we have here is, what made you finally decide to write this book after carrying these experiences for so long? Yeah, that's a good question. What made me decide to write this book? I wanted to touch other people's lives. I wanted to plant that seed that you're not alone. No matter how foggy it may seem, there's a lot of spiritual warfare going on out there, especially in the year of 2026. It was magnetized in 2020, but we're not even going to talk about that. But yeah, I finally decided to write this book because after dwelling on it for so long, I think I started dwelling on it, or I started getting the nudge back in 2020. Yeah, when everything went down, and I didn't, because I just didn't feel like it was the right time. I still needed to kind of like collect my thoughts. I still needed to go through this journey, right? So the divine was like, no, but I kept speaking with the divine. So I'm like, okay, like, this is what I want to do, but I want to be able to present it in a way that it's not biased against anybody, or it doesn't project a certain narrative. You get what I mean? Because everybody likes to twist and turn and whatever they like to do. So it's more so just like, it's like a self-reflection type of book. But good question. After carrying these experiences for so long, it just finally, finally, I was like, okay, I had, like, I kept getting nudges, like, and it's crazy because, like, I would speak with the divine and I'm like, hey, you know, this is what I want to do. They would tell me, no, not yet. You know, you still got to plan it. You still got to work it out, right? So I did that, you know, in my head. And then they kept reaching out to me like, okay, it's time. And funny thing is, I'm like, okay, but I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready to do this. So it was kind of like that back and forth. Like, it was never really a final, but it was more so like that intuitive feeling like, okay, like, you need to put this book out. You need to touch other people's lives. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. Which is pretty cool because I've been getting a lot of feedback about it, and it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice to see. All right. We have another question. It says, you talk about noticing signs, hawks, cardinals, deer. When did you start paying attention to those? Okay, so I've always lived like in the desert, California, obviously. So my Nana, she always loved feeding the birds. She always used to like feed the road runners. Just such a lovely, lovely soul, and it makes me smile every time I talk about her. But yeah, so ever since I was a little girl, I've always like just been drawn to nature. Um, but when I really started noticing them like speaking to me, I guess, is when I was going through my spiritual journey, and I was just, you know, dabbling into a few things, and I believe that I hold shamanic, ancestral DNA, if that's what you want to call it, whatever. So there was this one time where I was in a virtual group, and they were doing a shamanic journey, and I would highly recommend, if you haven't already done one of those, please do, because it's very, very enlightening. But I went through the different realms, the middle realm, the lower realm, and the higher realm. Now, when you think of like the lower realm, it's not what people perceive it to be. Yes, it's dark just because of the energy behind it, but it's not something to fear. So I just want to put that out there. But when I went into the realms, it was more so like it was animals, okay? So when I got to be around these animals, it really heightened my awareness of how animals are in this physical realm rather than the spiritual realm. The spiritual realm, they are very, it's not how we perceive it to be in the physical realm, okay? So, for example, lions, bears, okay, well, lions, panthers, whatever, like, we see them as scary. Snakes, if you don't like snakes, for example. In the spiritual realm, it's not like that. Like, you do not fear, and if you do fear, like, they help like comfort you, like whatever phobias you have in this realm, in the physical, you can go into the spiritual realm and be able to heal those fears. But it was really cool. That's when I started to experience or notice signs more after doing that. But good question, good question. Anybody else? Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. Thumbs up if you are on YouTube. I did go ahead and drop the link for Guided by Light in the chat. So on Discord, someone's like, I'm so confused as what I stepped into. Okay, so a little bit about what is going on here. This is the first book that I have written. It's called Guided by Light. I'm doing a question and answer. Right now it is on Amazon for $2.99. It's an ebook if you want to support and read it. It's a memoir, and it talks about my different experiences growing up, and how you can get through the storm if you are going through some fogginess, or it's just kind of like a self-reflection book, different experiences that I have had growing up. And then to also top it off, you guys, we have my new book actually today that has been launched, and it's called Walking with the Divine. So I'm really excited. It's a spinoff of this book, my first book. So yeah, that just released today. I'm super excited. Yes. So yeah, this book in particular, my first book, Guided by Light, it talks about my journey with faith, healing, and when I first experienced divine presence, okay, and noticing signs of like animals. That's what I was just talking about, like the spiritual journey and shamanic journey and all of that. So, I mean, there's different levels to this, you guys. There's different levels, and everybody's going to experience their journey differently. And if you do awaken or you do self-reflect, and once you do go within and start healing, there's going to be different things that are being shown to you, and everybody's story is different, right? And this is basically what my first book is talking about. Like, go within, start asking questions. And then my second book, Walking with the Divine, I'll also post that link. That goes in more into depth with that. So, like, even if you haven't read the book and you have any questions about, anything that I'm talking about, totally fine. Totally fine. Like, I am up for that. That is why I'm here. But we got about 30 more minutes on the clock. So if you have any more questions, feel free. And I want to talk about like what surrendering really means in practice, because I do talk about that in my book, like the quote unquote surrender. And a lot of people kind of like mix that up a bit. And surrendering, all that really means is just taking a breath, just living life. Right? Just doing something that makes you feel good. Surrendering to higher source, surrendering to your higher self. Like, what is it that your consciousness is trying to, get to you? Because sometimes it also has to do with like listening. Are you listening to your higher self? Are you listening to your intuition? And that's what surrendering looks like. That's what it feels like. You know, sometimes you do have to, you know, meditate on that, self-reflect, ask questions, ask yourself, why am I going through these certain patterns? Why do I keep making, you know, the same mistakes? How can I change this? So I would highly recommend read the book. I'm going to be posting my second book, Walking with the Divine. Okay, so that is the second book that has been released today, Trials, Tribulations, and Spiritual Awakening. It is now on Amazon for $4.99. It is an ebook as well. So yeah, I'm very excited to be able to talk about these things and be able to write a book about it, because it took me a lot of courage. It took me a lot of time to be able to just muster up the courage to be able to write this book, because I didn't, low-key, I really, like, I just like to stay in hermit mode, you know, like, low-key. Alright, so what else do we have? What surprised you most about becoming a published author? What surprised me the most was how, like, easy it was, surprisingly. I had it in my mind that it would take so long, this is going to take forever, like, nobody's going to read this. Just, you know, that self-doubt, and that comes with also what I want to talk about, doubt versus faith. And that's what I explained in the book, is like, don't let your fears overcome your dreams. You know, keep your dreams in mind, keep your goals in mind, keep doing, keep pushing, because you never know. You never know who's watching, you never know, you know, whose lives you're going to touch. And that's one of the biggest reasons, you know, why I wrote this, why I wanted to become an author. So, yeah. Am I working on anything next? Yes, I am. I actually am. I'm working on a third book, and I will release the name. It's called The Power of the Mind. Power of the Mind. So that goes even more into depth about the mind and how the mind operates and how we can use our mind to manifest the things that we want, our reality in this physical realm. Okay, so it's very amazing to see to think of how powerful the mind is. So I do talk about that. That is going to be my next book coming up. But like I said, the second book was just released today. Go find it on Amazon. Walking with the Divine. I did post that. So that talks about all my trials and tribulations and my actual, like, awakening of faith. And it's a very powerful book. I would highly recommend to read it. Was there any part of the book especially hard to write or share? Yes. Yes. It was, I would say the car crash was very hard to write, just because, like, just reliving through it all, and that near death experience, and all the emotions that come back with it and just reliving that, that was definitely something that it was a little difficult to like reflect on, but it was well needed. All right. So another question we have is, the title is Guided by Light. What does the light mean to you personally? So the light, that's a good question. What does the light mean to me personally? Love. Just love all around, unconditional love. Feeling that deep down within your soul. And I live by like, or I study the Egyptian era and how they weighed the heart by the feather. So always being good with your intentions. And that's what the light means to me. You know, when you come across somebody and, you know, you have a smile that's so bright, you just have an aura that's so bright that people just cannot just stop and express how vibrant you are. That is what light means to me. And it's also like the presence of God, the presence of the divine that's within you. And you being that vessel, that temple, to be able to promote that light, so that other people feel that within you. And that's what light means to me, you know, just based off of the experiences that you go through. You know, you can always go within and call on the light also, to get you through those things. And that's also what my book talks about as well. But I do also have a sign-up page if you want a free weekly reflection. I will post that in the community as well. Let me just get the link here really quick. Copy. So if you want weekly, oh crap, that was not the one. If you want weekly reflections, that is the link there. So that you are able to get, you know, some motivation. And also, if this book did motivate you in any way, an honest review on Amazon would be greatly appreciated. Much love. And this will help to find the next person as well. We have a question. Your book blends faith with meditation, intuition, and spiritual gifts. How do you hold all of that together? It's pretty difficult, I'm not even gonna lie. You just have to hold space for yourself, give yourself that moment, and not let other outside influences like deter you from your goal, from what you really want to do, for what you stand for, okay? Don't let outside sources talk you off of your whatever it is that you want to do, okay? So I hold all of that together by holding space for myself and giving myself that time to breathe. Like, a lot of the times you won't see me online. That's because I'm going into hermit mode. That's because I'm working on other stuff. That's because I'm going within. Sometimes you just have to go within and tap into that side. All right, do we have any other questions? Any other questions that you guys want to ask? If not, I'm probably gonna head out. But thank you all for being here and supporting. The book is on Amazon right now, $2.99. I did go ahead and share that. I'll also put that in the description as well. So if you guys go back on YouTube and you want to buy the book, uh, it would be greatly appreciated. And stay in tune for this third book coming up. I am so happy. Read the second book. That is an even more powerful book. I cannot express that enough. But you got to read the first one in order to kind of understand the second one. But if you don't read the first one, that's perfectly fine. I don't mind. It still is its own book within itself. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. And as always, much love and light. Take care.